Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Fun Stuff Friday and we have some fun stuff. Mr. Penn sent me a lovely package last week and we're going to take a look at the colored pencils that came in the package. In the package was these wonderful Mr. Penn sharpeners as well as some gel pens and these wonderful colored pencils. Now I have gone through and put them in color order the way I like them and put numbers on them so that I know what pencils are what because otherwise I wouldn't. They do come in a cardboard, very thin cardboard packages and we all know how I don't like that. But I have swatched them, so we will be doing a swatch. So once we get the swatch done, we'll take a look at both sets. I will be swatching both sets in the same swatch segment. The first swatch will be the quality, premium quality, and the second swatch will be the student grade. And then we'll talk about the swatches and then we'll work on some testing and maybe a bit of coloring. All right, guys, so grab your cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and get ready for the swatch. I will be right back. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. And as you probably noticed, both of the swatches are very, very similar. However, the student grade are a much less pigmented colored pencil than the premium grade. They do have pretty much the exact same colors throughout the entire sets. However, some of them are lighter, some of them are darker, and I think together they give you a very good variation of each other. However, the student grade are very dry. So when you're coloring with them, they are very, very, very um, gritty feeling. They're very dry. Where these premium ones are a bit smoother. I did have an issue, as you can tell, with one of the student grades. Every time I sharpened it, it would break. So I think there's some damage done to the pencils in the packaging. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like that cardboard box packaging. It's fine for when it's on the shelves, maybe, but to tell you the truth, even on the shelves, it's there's a damage risk because of the fact that people drop things. you know, they're going to get damaged. They're put into a big box and then they're manhandled. And pencils are fragile. Nobody thinks so, but pencils are fragile. All right, so I'm going to move my coffee out of the way here. I'm going to switch over to the close-up and we'll take a look at the swatches. And I'll try to put them right on top of each other, but I don't know if I'll be able to. So as you can see, we've got our white, a light yellow and a light yellow, a medium yellow and a dark yellow. Then we've got our peach tone and some oranges. And then we go into our reds. And as you can tell with the student grade, the colors are much lighter than they are with the quality, premium quality grade. So you have the same colors. This one here would be this one, and this one would be that one. You have the same colors, however, you will find that they're lighter in the harder pencils. All right, so there we have our reds and into our pinks. Same with here, our reds into our pink. And then we have our light pinks. And I did move this one to where this one is. So 15 and 15 do match. And 16 should be number 17, but I'll go through and I'll reorder them so that they're next to each other. I did find this one here in the premiums was more blue than this one here, which was more green. Oh, actually it should be this one. This one here was more green and this one was more blue. Brain is trying to see which one I'm talking about here. So these two here, they're very close together. They're the exact same coloring. However, this one is lighter and seems to have a little bit more of a blue tinge to it, where this one has a bit more of a green tinge to it. And I think it's just the quality of the pencil. It's the same pigmentation, it's the same color grouping of the pigments. However, with the wax in this one, which is a harder wax, you're not getting the same saturation as you do with the softer wax. So that's why that one is in with the greens, where this one is in with the blues. All right, so we've got a fairly good selection of colors between the two different groupings. I'm going to do the testing for them, and I can't find my, I was going to say I can't find my thing, and then I find it. I looked everywhere, and of course it was right in front of my face. So I'm just going to put some circles here, and we'll do our test. So this is our water test, and then we'll do our smudge test as well. And I will do both sets on the same page. Okay, so there's our water test, and then actually that'll be our, I like to do them on the top so that I have room to move. So that's going to be our water test, and this will be our smudge test. And we'll do premium, and we'll also do the other one right next to it. So we'll test them together. So we'll do premium and student. So let's do water. This is premium, and this is student. And this is smudge. And this is premium, this is student. The best way to tell the student from the premium, of course, is the premiums are round and the students are hexagonal. And then we're going to do our blend. So we've got those two there, and then we'll do the same ones over here for the student. And then we've got our blender pencils as well as white down here. So these pencils aren't very expensive, and they are a great starter set for both of them for students as well as beginner colorists. I would suggest the premium is more for the beginner colorist than the student grade. Student grade is really good for young children going to school, where the premium set is better for that student already in school doing art, if that makes sense. So we'll use number 8, 19, and a yellow, which we'll use number 3. And then we'll use the same ones as the other one, so 3, 8, and 19. I think, yeah. Nope. I think I moved that one. I think that one, let's see, number 19. And yeah, it's number 19. It just looks different. They just look different. Okay, so we've got our student grade and our premium. So we're going to start with our yellow in our premium, and we're going to sharpen it. I'm going to use my electric sharpener just because it gives a really good, and of course my sharpener's dirty, it gives a good point. So, and this is a nice dark yellow, so we're going to put this down the same way we would if we were coloring a page. So I'm just going to put down a couple of layers. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on it because these pencils, the premium ones anyway, I find that they crumble if you put too much pressure on them. So these are definitely not a good pencil for somebody that has a really heavy hand. I would suggest light layers are a good thing with these pencils. Otherwise you're going to end up squashing them. And then we have our red. Again, light layers, fill in the gaps. And as you can see, they are quite soft. Now, whether or not that gives them the smushability of most soft pencils, I'm not sure yet. But I have found while I was doing the swatch that if you put too much pressure on them, especially when they have a point, they do crumble quite well. But if you wear the point down, then you can definitely smush them. Just have to make sure that that point is worn down a little bit. Just making sure I have no crumbles on the page. So these pencils are not named or numbered. So I have put number stickers on the ends of my pencils to tell me what numbers they are in compliance to my swatch. So I won't be creating a swatch chart for these because of the fact that they are not already numbered and not already named or anything else like that. So my idea of number one may not be your idea of number one. It is very arbitrary. So as you can see, I put the number on the end there. The numbers are put on with what I call little dot, and they're just little tiny dots about the size of the end of a pencil that they have an adhesive on the end. On the back side, you can write on the front side. Now, as you can see with the student grade, you can put a lot more pressure on the pencil. It doesn't crumble as much. Great pencil for doing those detail areas. You can get a really good sharp point on them and maintain that sharp point. So as you can see, it gets a really, really good sharp point. My sharpener is dirty, so please. And as you see, the red number 8, which is the same color as this, did have some issues and did have a lot of breakage through the pencil. I could have repaired that just by putting it in the oven for a little bit with the oven light on. Not with the oven on, just with the oven light on. But I wanted to see how far down that break went. And it went down quite far, so just filling in as heavy as the other one. Now, as you can see, there's a difference in the color saturation between the reds especially, and the yellow is much darker here than it is here. Now we're going to use the blue. Again, as you can see, the saturation just with the first layer is a lot less than the premium, which you would expect between a premium and a regular student grade pencil. They do gear these and they do advertise it as school supplies. So they do not advertise as these are the best pencils for the ultimate pencil for a artist studio. So we have to gauge them and judge them the same way we would Crayola. You know, with the different layers of and different things that Crayola puts out, such as their colorist grade and their basic grades. Now I'm just trying to find my water pen that has water in it. There we go. All right, just going to do a drip. So as you can see, there's water in there. I'm going to start with the yellow. And there's a little bit of movement in the yellow. Going into the red. Oh, a lot of movement in the red. And then into the blue. And not as much movement in the blue as the red and the yellow. Alright, now we're going to do the student grade. Not seeing as much movement in the yellow. There's still some. Quite a bit of movement in the red, but not as much as the premium. and there's movement in the blue. So why we have movement in this blue and not movement in this blue is very strange to me. Did I not put enough? That is very interesting. I have no movement in the blue here. No matter how much water I put on it. But this blue here is definitely moving. That's a very interesting thing. So we have movement basically across the line. We have movement in all of the colors in the student, in the red and the yellow, in the premium. The blue for some reason has no movement, so I'm not sure why, but that is an interesting thing to see. I would definitely say use caution when using your water products with these. So if you use stickles or watercolor paint with glitter, stuff like that for your enhancements and your pretty bits, after you are done coloring your page, make sure that you seal, and you can definitely do that with your Caran d'Ache blender or any other heavy wax blender. Make sure that you seal in your pigment before you put your water base over top of it. So I'm working in the premiums for the smudge test. I'm going to make sure that I put down a full coloring, because one of my problems is when I'm coloring, I run my hand back and forth across things. And that can cause, and I have had it cause, some major issues with dragging the color into other areas that I don't want that color to be. And that's usually after I'm finished an area, so I'm making sure that I'm coloring this the way I would to finish an area. Again, I'm using the premium pencils first, and I'm filling in with light layers, building that color up the same way I would if I was coloring a little round ball in a picture. And with, it being Christmas and all, there's lots of little round balls in pictures that we're coloring. Little lights and all that fun stuff. Christmas balls. I do apologize for the sniffles. It is very cold here today, and of course my dog has decided that she needs to sleep out in the front yard today. And I've been going in and out trying to convince her to come in the house. I think she's just waiting until I'm not looking so that she can trash all the ornaments in the front yard. Alright, so I'm just going to go the opposite way, make sure that I get full coverage. Alright, so we have full coverage on the premiums there. We've got the yellow, red, and blue. Now we're going to do the same thing here with the student grade. Again, these are a little bit harder, a little bit scratchier. Drier, I should say. They're not really scratchy. They don't cut the paper. They just feel really dry when you're laying them down, where those feel very smooth. Right. I think that covers it for our yellow. And then our red. Just building that color up, filling it in. I know this is probably the boring part for y'all, but it's not so bad when it's only 3, but I'm doing 2 different sets, so Same brand name, just two different qualities, two different grades of supply here. There's our red and now our blue. And I'll run the duster over it just to make sure that all the dust is gone. And then I will take my finger and I will move it back and forth over top, seeing if I can push that color out of the circle. Again, going over it, making sure I have a good saturation that I would normally be satisfied with when I'm coloring. Alright, so that's those done. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to push the color and see if it moves outside of the circle. The yellow has moved a little bit in the premiums. The red definitely moves. And we don't have a lot of movement with the blue. Again, this blue here doesn't have the movement, just like this one here doesn't have the movement with the water. So again, with the yellow of the student grade, definite movement. And the red, not as much movement. There's a little bit, but not a whole lot. And then the blue. Again, a little bit of movement, but not a whole terrible amount. So the most movement we've received are basically in these ones here. And I think that's because they are a softer wax and they do have a higher pigmentation. So, movement as well as water solubility. So please make sure that you seal or blend your colors before you move on to the next color area. So, alright, so we're going to do our blend. Oh goodness, sniffle, sniffle, sniffle. So I'm going to do a yellow to orange to red blend first. Alright, so this is the student. And then we're going to take our yellow, orange, and red. Okay, so we've got our deep orange, or our deep yellow, an orange, and a red. So we're going to start with our light color, which is our deep yellow. Leaving that tail to blend into. Like so. Just building that color up. And I've got everything in the way here, so I apologize for the page being to a slant. Now we're going in with our orange. We're going to leave a tail there for the red to go into. Now we're going to take our yellow and we're just going to seal up that edge. And then our red. And then we're going to take our orange and we're going to seal up that edge. So definitely does progress in a line from yellow, orange, and red. I'm just going to make these fairly even here. So it does progress easily from one color to the next, where you don't have a fairly harsh line. Even with this harsher line here, you can definitely soften it and smooth it out, which is good. That tells me that the colors can be blended together. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing. That was with our premium. Now we're going to do the same thing over here with our student. So we've got our yellow, our deep yellow. Try to make sure that I leave an edge here, and then get the color deeper here. All right, so there's our yellow, and then we're going to go into the yellow with our orange. And we're going to come off the orange with a tail there. And then we're going to go into the orange with our red. Then we're just going to soften this a little bit with the yellow. Oh, wrong one. That was the orange. With the yellow. Softening any harsh lines that were introduced. Same with here with the orange into the red. And we're going to use the orange. So definitely able to blend together. However, they're definitely not as bright as the premium. I do find the yellow and the orange blended a little bit better on the student grade. All right, so now we're going to do, let's do the student grade one first. We're going to do yellow. We're going to start with red, and we're going to move from red to yellow and then to blue. And what we're trying to create this way is a rainbow effect. So we're trying to create 6 colors or 5 colors with 3. So I'm going to blend this out, leaving that tail for the yellow to come into. So we want red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. So now I'm going to go in with the yellow, and we're going right into that red. And we want to create orange in that red. And then we're going to come out this way. And we're going to add blue, and we want the blue to create a green in the yellow. And I'm just going to add a little bit more yellow to that, just to smooth it out a little bit. Because it is creating that green color, which is great. So it does give us the rainbow. So it does give us red, orange, yellow, green, and blue for our student grade, which is fantastic. Now we're going to do the same thing with our premium. So we're going to start with our red. Again, putting down a good heavy amount. building that color up. Leaving our tail for the yellow to blend into there. Now I'm going to dust that because these are softer pencils, so they do crumble a little bit more. And then we're going to go into here with our yellow. And then we're going to bring it out here and start toning it down a little bit for the blue to come into. Now, as you can see, it's picking up some of that red and moving it into the yellow, which is not exactly what you want to have happen, but it's fine that it does. So I'm just going to go over the yellow and the red with the red and the yellow one more time just to fill in any gaps, because there was a bit of white spot there. So it definitely does create the orange. It's just more of a red orange than this one down here, which is more of a yellow orange. Now we're going to go in here with our blue and we're going to create that green. Do the blue over here. So you can see the difference. And again, going to add some yellow and blend that into the yellow, softening the line. Like so. So definitely does give us the transition from red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. So they do blend quite nicely. I did find that this one here was softer to blend and blended a little bit easier than this one here. However, I'm finding the transition blend in the student grade to be a little bit quicker than in the premiums. So now we're going to do a pink blend. So we want 12, 13, and 14 for this blend. So we're going to start with our dark and we're going to work our way down to our light. I think that's what I'm hoping for anyway. Let's make sure I have the right colors. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start with our dark. Again, putting that heavier layer on one side, leaving the other side as a bit of a tail to blend into. So there's our dark pink. Sorry, I was off screen. There's our dark pink. And then our medium pink should be this one. So then we go into our dark pink tail. And then we pull it out this way. Just building that color up, leaving that tail open for the light pink. And then we're going to use our light pink and we're going to build it into the medium pink. Like so. So it definitely transitions from dark, medium to light and gives you that progression into those lighter colors. So that is the blend that we're going to use. Now we're going to put all of these colors together using the white pencil in this instance. So I've left a little bit of white spot, and we're going to blend all of it together and create that blend, trying to use the white pencil. So I'm starting with the light, and I'm moving it into the dark. And basically with doing this with the white pencil, of course you're muting your colors. So it's not one that I suggest using if you don't want to mute your colors. So even though this white pencil is not terribly white against other colors, it's still going to tone down that color if you use it to blend. But it did blend those colors together quite nicely. All right, so now we're going to use a blender, an actual blender. But first we need to lay down the colors. So we're going to put down our dark. Thicken that up here. So these are the premium pencils here. And then we will do the same process with the student grade. And then we want the medium tone. Building it into that color there. And then we want the light tone. Like so. Building it into that other color. And then we're going to take our blender pencil. This is the Elira Rembrandt blender pencil. And we're going to start here on the light. And we're going to come into that medium and dark. And then we're going to go the opposite direction. Now, as you can see, it doesn't take away any of the color, but it does blend it all together, giving us that transition from light or from medium, light, and dark. So it works really well with the Lyra, whatever blender. The reason why I haven't used this one is because I couldn't find it, and it's right in front of me. So we're going to use the Caran d'Ache blender on this one up here. So we're going to start with our light and work our way down to our dark, and vice versa. Just going to move it around and go up and down. Try not to pick too much of the color into the yellow. That doesn't belong there. And it definitely blends very, very well with the Caran d'Ache as well. All right, so blends quite nicely with all three, the white, the Caran d'Ache, as well as the Lyra. And yeah, so now we're going to do the same thing over here with the student grade. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, like I said, with the student grade. And I've got number 14, 13, and 12 here. And again, we're going to start from dark to light. So we're going to start with number 14. And we're going to build that color up, just the same as we did with the other ones. This is the student grade, so it's a little bit drier. And a little bit harder of a pencil. not quite as pigmented as the other pencils. So now we're going to go with number 13. Put her tail there. And then number 12. Or number 14. Let's see. Number 12. I think maybe I went the wrong way. Alright, so let's do this one. So I went the wrong way. I put the wrong ones in the wrong order in my hand. So we're going to have a little bit of a variation here. Alright, so now we're going to use the white pencil to blend these together. Start here. Again, this is going to tone that pencil down and dull it out a little bit. So your color is not going to be as bright if you blend with your white pencil instead of, say, the Caran d'Ache Bright Stick or a blender pencil, which is just moving the pigment into the white spot, where the white pencil is filling in that white spot with both the pigment of the color as well as the white pencil. Alright, so we're going to put that one back, and then we're going to put these in the right order in my hand so that I don't mess them up. So it's 14, 13, and 12. Alright, I'm going to sharpen this. Okay, let's see if I can do this right this time. So here's number 14. So this is our darkest pink. Again, building that color up. And filling in some of that white spot. And the next one is number 13. Going over top of the tail and dragging that out. And filling that in. We're going to go back with our darkest color here. Let's just finish this first. So this is number 12. Which is our lightest color. Alright, so I'm going to go back over it with our darkest color first, which is number 14. I'm going to put a little bit more pressure down because these are a harder pencil. They do work okay with some pressure. But if you have tender hands where putting too much pressure on the page is going to cause you issues, you don't need to. You can definitely layer these up. And then our lightest as well. Like so. Now we're going to take our Caran d'Ache, since I combined it, and we're going to blend that together and brighten those colors up. Definitely blends well with the Caran d'Ache. Definitely get a really good blend with that Caran d'Ache. I love the Caran d'Ache blender. So this one up here we're going to do with the Lyra. This one here we did with Caran d'Ache. This one we did with the Lyra. This one here we did with Caran d'Ache. This one here I'm going to do with the Lyra. I'm going to start in the light, moving it into that darker color here. So as you can see with the Lyra, it moves that pigment around. So it picks it up and it moves it. Where with the Caran d'Ache, it didn't pick up the color as much. So the Lyra definitely picks up some of that color. So be careful of that if you're going to use the Lyra blender. Okay, so I think they blend very well. They both did quite well with blending from light to dark, as well as the rainbow, and dark to light in the lighter pigmentation. So this one here is the premium, and this one here is the student. Even the student grade did very well with the rainbow, as well as the light to dark, and in the lighter pigmentation. Both are a good good set of pencils. The only thing I would suggest is or let you know about, is the student grade is a harder pencil. It's got more of a hard wax. It also feels a little dry when you're coloring with it. So what I mean by dry is when you're coloring it, it sounds dry on the paper. So it makes a bit of a scratching sound. It's not actually scratching your paper. It's just the pigmentation in there is drier than, or the wax in there is drier than the wax in the premium. The pigmentation is a little bit lighter in the student grade as in the premium, and I don't know if that's a higher pigmentation in the premium or if it's a higher, softer wax. I did find that the both sets have some issues with water as well as smudge. The student grade not so much with the smudge as with the premium. So make sure that you definitely seal in that color before you use a water base or before you rub your hand across it. Now both of these sets are very budget friendly, so if you're purchasing something for a child for school or for yourself for coloring, definitely a good budget set. It is a smaller set, so it's great for traveling. It is only a 36 set, but it does give you a really good range and variety of coloration. And as we saw, they do blend and create new colors. So you can definitely change a color by just blending it into a different color. All right, guys. So that is my swatching and testing of the Mr. Pen colored pencils. Let's do a couple of little areas here. So this one here is the premium quality. So I'm going to color the flower here. We're going to start off with number 12, which is our darkest in the pinks. I might even grab number 11 if I find that this isn't quite dark enough for what I want. I'm going to actually try to stay on screen for you. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? All right. And of course I have a tickle in my throat, which is going to make me sneeze. Just so you know. One moment. All right. Hopefully that keeps me from sneezing, but I can't guarantee it. All right, so there's our darker tone going down for our base and our shadow areas. So where our veining is and that sort of thing. Where our overlap is going to be for the petals, as well as the creasing of the inside of the petal. You guys have seen me color this a billion times, so you probably already have it in your brain of what I'm doing with it. So now we're going to go with number 13. And we're just going to bring that color out in our shadow and edge areas. Definitely blends very nicely. Now I'm not going to color the whole thing. I'm just going to color one flower on each, just to give you an idea of how well they work together. And then I might do one flower with a combination. So showing you that they can be used together as a single set or as a complementary addition to the set. I have to push myself out of my comfort zone sometimes with using more than one set of pencils. I do have a tendency to go, okay, I'm using this set of pencils and only this set of pencils. I can't use anything else. And I know I can. It's just my brain for some reason just says, no, no, it's just not possible. Don't do it. All right, so now we're going to grab number 14. Nope, number 12. I'm going to use number 12. Nope, you know what I did? I went backwards, so that's okay. I forgot that I was using the premium, so I need number 14. There. Went a little backwards and grabbed the wrong color here for this petal, so that's okay. All right. So as you can see, it blends it all together and becomes one complementary color to each other. It gives you your highlights, your lowlights, as well as your shadows with using the 3 different tones, which is fantastic. Now I do want to give it a little bit more depth down here, so I'm going to use number 15, which has a touch of purple in it. So I'm just going to come down in here with that. Not quite to the edge or to the depth of number 14, which is the darkest of the pinks, but just enough to give it a bit of a shadow at the base of the petal, like so, and make it stand out a little bit more. All right, so that is that is it for the premiums. Now, put those back in there. We're going to take our orange yellow, yellowy orange, and we're going to fill this in here, like so. Now we're going to do the same thing with the same flower with the student grade. So we've got the same colors, and we're going to grab the purple as well, the purpley pink. So we need to start with number 14 for our dark area. And again, like I said, these are a harder pencil, so getting into really small areas and keeping that sharp point is a lot easier with a harder pencil. Just go quickly through here. And put those shadows in. Like so. And then we're going to take our medium tone, which is number 13, and we're going to come up off of this area. Into here. And we're going to drag out that dark tone to the edges of the creases here. And hopefully you guys are not seeing just the back of my hand. Because I have it zoomed in quite far for the swatch, and I didn't zoom it back out. Remember to do this part here in a medium tone. It is a area that is curled down, and if you don't use the medium tone on it, you're going to end up with an area that looks like it's flat. Put a medium tone there, and it gives it that functionality, that curve. Just going to blend those all together and then put in our darkest color as well. Doing it in the same process as the premium. Alright, now for our darker color. And this one is the purple pink, so it has a little bit more of a purple tone to it. And why I have it close to the purples. So we're going to do a bit of a comparison between the two flowers. They're colored with the exact same colors, with the exact same brand, just a different quality level in the pigmentation and production. All right, so there are the two differences. So let's put the yellow in there just to make it pop a little bit. And there we have it. So as you can see, there is a difference between the quality, the pigmentation and the quality of the two pencils. Not that it's a bad thing. There are some times that I really like and really want that very muted color for things, especially if I'm doing antique things or vintage things where I want that muted color. There are other times where I want the very vibrant color. So having both of these at the same time is not a bad idea because it does allow you to blend those together. And that's what we're going to do on, let's see, let's do that on this flower here. So we're going to use the darkest pink in this one and the lightest pink in this one. So I need number 14. And then we'll use the number 14 in this one. So I've got 14, and 13 is not the darkest, so I need 14 and 14. No. 15, 14, and 12. So we've got 15, 14, and 12. So we're going to start with the darkest color in the student grade. And this is that purple pink. So we're going to put that down first instead of last. Because the other two darker colors, the darkest pinks in the two different grades are very close to the same color. And I don't want them to clash with each other and take each other over. Okay. Now for the medium tone. Which we're going to extend this purple pink out with. Also because this is the underside of the flower, it's not going to have as much highlight as it is going to have that shadowing and low light color. And of course I could have easily colored this as a flat thing. My brain just won't let me do it anymore. All right, now we're going to use number 12, which is our lightest color. And this is, once again, the student grade. And I'm blending both of those grades together, building that color up. Putting in the highlight at the same time. And there we have it. Now we can use our white to blend this together, which dulls down that color just that little bit more, just to give us that little bit more of a highlight there. Like so. So they do work together quite nicely as well. All right, guys, that is my first impressions of the Mr. Pen colored pencils, both the premium and the student grade that were sent to me via Mr. Pen as a gift. They sent me these colored pencils, a wonderful set of eraser sharpeners that are fantastic. It has a really large eraser there and a really good pencil sharpener. And I did test it, and the large pencil sharpener hole does work well for my Felissimos. So those are a chunky square pencil, and I am able to sharpen them in here, which is awesome. So we did do our testing of both the different grades of the premium as well as the student. We do have some water movement with both sets. We do have some smudging with both sets, with the premium more than the student. Both sets were able to do the rainbow gradient, which is the red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, as well as blend from light to dark, as well as blend from dark to light. Now, the difference between the two different sets of pencils in coloration is that the student grade, the lesser quality grade, are lighter in color. They do still have really, really nice color, but they don't lay down as bright or as pigmented as the premium. But you can still get a really, really good saturation if you just layer a little bit more or put a little bit more pressure on your pencil. Of course, the more pressure you put on the pencil, the more it takes out the tooth of the paper, so you may not get as many layers or the ability to put as many colors in an area. They are a fairly nice student grade or a budget-friendly pencil. Let's take a quick look here. I do believe they're about $8. I'm just going to verify on Amazon. They do also have their own website, and I do believe that I have linked those in the description of the video where I went through and showed the unboxing of them. So if you look for the unboxing of Mr. Pen Gift, you should be able to find the link to Mr. Pen website as well as their Amazon. There we go. So the premium grade is $8.99. And that's for of pencils. That's pretty here. And we're going to see. How much the other set is going for. And the other set here, this set here, is a $6.99. So that's not too bad either. So the colored pencils, the base set of the colored pencils is $6.99. And the premium grade is $8.99. So both of them are a fantastic price point, especially for a small set just to throw into a bag and take with you when you go places to color. So yeah, not a to each other. They work very well together. Personally, I would purchase the premium over the student grade, not because they're any better, it's they work better for the way I color. However, I can easily see using both of these pencil sets together to give me that variation in color, to give me the lighter and darker, get into those smaller fiddly areas. It's a lot easier to do with a harder pencil because you can sharpen them and to a really fine sharp point and maintain that point. So for, you know, between $7 and $9, both these sets are a fantastic, fantastic set of pencils to start off with your colored pencil collections, or as gifts for students, or if you have a student that's just starting off in school and really, really enjoys his art class, definitely a great set of pencils for them. All right, guys, so that's my thoughts of the Mr. Pen premium as well as student grade colored pencils. They do not have any names or numbers on them. I have numbered them myself after putting them into the color order that I prefer. Um, so make sure that you have some dots. The dots I use, I bought off of Amazon, and they are just a little round. Let's see if I can find them. I've lost my dots. Oh no. I don't know where my dots went. Right in front of my eyes. They're just a roll of little tiny round circle stickers. Um, you can buy them off of Amazon and that sort of thing. Just make sure that you get the right size. Measure the pencil that you want them on and put the measurements into your search. All right, guys, with that, I would like to say thank you all very much for watching. Of course, remember, tomorrow we are not going to be doing a live stream, so enjoy your weekend. Merry Christmas, and of course, I will see you after Christmas with a video of all the wonderful things that I got for Christmas, as well as any gifts that I have been sent via followers, friends, and family. All right, guys, with that, I would like to say always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artist that you enjoy. Not only does this help us out with our own self-esteem, but it also helps us out with our analytics, having YouTube tell other people to come take a look at the videos because you have enjoyed them. And always, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Until next time, bye-bye for now.